We do have a guest coming on today. He has let Mario. So he is coming. He is just a bit behind. He is going to be late joining in.
All right.
So, while we wait for that or wait for him to get in, we can open up any kind of general discussion or kind of talk points on what he had mentioned. I know I sent you some information with respect to what his encounters are. Haven't jumped into see his system personally just yet. But I think where he's falling with what he's doing is kind of where a lot of people may be falling as well is, he feels like or is putting the effort in, but isn't really seeing the return with everything that he's doing with his platform. So, and that's, sometimes it's just a shift in how we're approaching things, as I imagine you've come across as well.
Every day.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah, I know, right?
As every participant on here is probably going, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, right. I'm doing everything I think I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm just not finding the results that should be there, right? And so it can be
of what we're programmed to, or should I say programmed to in response to things that don't go our way.
Mm-hmm.
If every day was unicorns and roses, we would never be challenged and we would never get better. Yeah. Because it would just be easy.
Yes.
But where we really find the gold is in the challenges, is in those struggles, because it forces us to pay attention to what's not working or what's not going our way. So we have to shift, we have to change. And if we stay so steadfast in our ways, and we don't look at it as a reward to be able to move on and get better, we stay stuck.
Yeah.
So we have that choice, right? We can stay stuck, or we can take initiative and do something about it, because what we're doing is not working. So what little things can I change today? What little things can I change tomorrow? It doesn't have to be like a massive change in a day of your life. It's just those little things every day that make the big difference in the compound effect.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we spend money and we see the money going out and we expect it to be coming back threefold immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And when it doesn't, there's something wrong with it. It's not just that leads have a story and they're not ready today. But if we don't start lead generating today, we're not going to have any business next year.
Yeah. Right.
So you've got to start the process somewhere.
Yes.
And that's where, when I was with Commissions Inc. way back in the day, that was always the debacle we had, right? The sales team was really great at over-promising and telling the agent what they wanted to hear because they wanted the sale. And then by the time it got over to customer service and the reality started checking in with the agents, it was like, but they said, the sales team doesn't work the leads. They just tell you what should happen in a perfect way.
Yeah.
And so it is. If we come into lead generation, spend money with an expectation, with a great expectation.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. We want those quick turnarounds. Because again, like you say, we're putting the money out right now. We want the money back right now. As we all know, this never has been or never will be a get rich quick approach to building your business that way. It does happen. There's the odd one that does, convert right away. They're ready to go. They haven't been talking to anyone. Those are the unicorns that we all love and wish every lead was like that. But unfortunately, it's not.
Well, and when we invest into our retirement, when we invest into a 401k, we don't automatically have $1 million in there to retire on tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You invest a little at a time, and that money is growing equity through time, which is why they tell you to start investing when you're young, because you can invest at a smaller amount and grow that money, and leads are the exact same way. Once you
Mhm.
start investing, that compound effect just keeps growing. But yeah, it would be great if our leads were like a 401k and they just started incubating and growing and multiplying, right? Without doing anything,
Yeah.
just waking up one day and go, oh, I got that much more money. I got that many more deals. But unfortunately, it's something that we have to take physical action on, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Nope. Exactly. Exactly.
That is why, I mean, we are going into like the world of technology and AI. So who knows what's to come in the future? But
Oh, right. I know. It could be fully like you sit there and who knows, right? What's going to come with all of that.
oh, who would have thought, back in the day? I mean, I remember, do you remember when they were talking about like video conferencing?
Yeah.
And that was back in the days we had just manual telephones with a cord.
Yeah.
And not the cell phones. And I'm like, oh my God, how cool it'd be to see who you're talking to.
Yes.
Here
Right.
we are. People don't, I mean, there's people on this planet that don't know what it's like to not have it.
Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly. You talk to different individuals, like, well, you even speak to individuals that, maybe are like teenagers, like, and you've seen videos where you give them a rotary phone, right? They have no idea how to use that rotary phone. Yeah. They have no clue. They're like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? So it's interesting how things have progressed. That's for sure. And really it's all evolving. And that's it's not a bad thing in many cases. And in many cases, it does actually assist us with what we're trying to accomplish on a day-to-day.
If we embrace it, because, it is difficult to hop on the change wagon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Generationally, that's what keeps the market moving, because people are progressing out in shifts and in changes. Yep. And you've got new coming in that have embraced the new technology. So we always have to stay up on what's the latest and greatest. And that's what's great about being connected with a company like AgentLocator, because they make sure. Now, it's up to the individual client of AgentLocators to tap in to everything that AgentLocator is introducing, because it's always the company's job to make sure that their community is plugged in.
Yes.
But it's our responsibility to plug in and take advantage of all of the opportunity that companies offer. And that's why I was always very specific. I always enjoyed the one-off smaller conferences of the tools I was utilizing instead of the big Remax or the big EXP, or, because you get lost in the sauce, because there's so many people, and then there's so many different things that you can gravitate to go to the lectures. Whereas when you're going to something that's very specific to the community, man, it's so invaluable.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I see Mario is with us now.
Yeah, we got Mario in here with us. How are you doing today, Mario?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good. Good.
Fantastic. I'm excited to
have you. I know it's been a while. I know, Chris, I think it's been a while. I think the last one was about a year ago, so that I kind of tapped into the call. So now I was trying to get a hold, but you mentioned he's no longer with the company. So
yeah.
And just want to kind of reboot and see what I can do moving forward, right?
Absolutely.
With the market shift, everything else. So
yes, it can definitely be tricky, that's for sure, with everything shifting for a lot of people, right? So so in some areas are hurt or feel it differently than others, right? Okay. So some areas really aren't, feeling too much of a ripple. They see slightly, but it's such, in greater, more dominant cities, people are always moving regardless, right? When you get to smaller communities, it can definitely put a halt on things as well. So, yeah. So Mario or Beverly, either one. So Mario, I know you gave me a brief kind of description as to, what it is that you're encountering currently in your system, did you want to let everyone know here kind of what you're encountering so far with Agent Locator?
Yeah, I mean, I know there was some. Yeah, I know there was. It just. I mean, I put my campaign on hold right now until I think, because I came on board probably 2021 when the market was kind of the peak.
Yeah.
So I have buyers at this point who came in when the market was really, really, really hot, and the rates were low, and inventory levels were low, and now we're kind of the reverse, where the rates have gone higher, much higher, and now the inventory levels are still kind of there, but it's challenging because now those buyers who thought, so they had their own issues back then, but now the issues is they're just waiting because now it's challenging to buy, because even now the inventory levels are low, especially my area, is to kind of qualify. So I have buyers who are just been sitting there. I haven't really done much of a dent in terms of progress. So I'm like, I paused the campaign for now. I have people just keep looking. It's just trying to get those people,
Off
the other side.
the fence
To me,
a little bit.
I do send, like I said, I do send like a weekly email. I mean, I probably since about 2 years. I mean, if I check, because I know you could check your email campaigns, right? Like all the emails you send. Yep. I'm kind of religious. I mean, I probably sent close to about 100 in 2 years. I mean, that's every 2 weeks, every week, give or take. And I mean, people haven't unsubscribed, but if people keep looking, because I get notifications when they look. And I mean, I don't want to bombard. I mean, I call them, but I want to bombard with, because I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm, because they've been there for almost 2-3 years now, give or take.
Yeah.
I just keep looking. And also, I mean, just have success to get them in the car and to get them, but I'm in the tailspin where I don't know if it's me or if it's just the leads. I just just trying to kind of reconnect with them, but that's the issue. So and that's what I just was. And I know there was some rumbling too. I know some people. I know the the leads have kind of quieted down with Agent Locator. I know some leads some leads have kind of shrunk because of the way the market is right now. So I decided just to kind of pause my campaign some new leads kind of trickle in here and there, because the campaign is not completely stopped. It's paused, but there's still some money going into it. In case I plan to restart the campaign, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. I mean, it's just trying to. I did the there was the hunt last year before Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. The treasure hunt for the old ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that one, and that didn't really garner much success. So I do, like I said, I see people come in on a daily basis. I mean, I want to bombard people, but I do send like my weekly email, market updates. I mean, I try to call them, and some people are just kind of in the weeds right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just here. It's not,
okay.
So that's the frustration part. And like I said, I know I spoke to you last year. I know I think it was Beverly. I think it was last year so I really haven't connected, because I was speaking to Jason most of the time. He was a contact person, and he kind of helped me from the beginning, but obviously he's no longer with Agent Locator. So I have to kind of speak to you or see what I can do moving forward.
And so really it's more of getting those leads that are in your system off the fence.
Well, I mean, some leads, it's been 200-300. I mean, some leads have been, I mean, some of them, they come on a regular basis. Some of them are like 200-300 days, because I started in 2021. So some of them haven't really done anything 2-3 years. Yeah. So, I mean, I still send, I mean, most people haven't really unsubscribed as much. I mean, but I mean, some people don't, because, it doesn't look to a lot of people, but, so I just try to, sometimes do send an email just saying if they're looking, or just to kind of engage with them. But I mean, I would imagine, it's 2-3 years. I'm not gonna, because pick up the phone, call me. It's been a while now since it's someone I really haven't spoken to, but there's some people have just been, some of these have just been kind of always on the fence, right? So it's been kind of a challenging time, right?
Mario, one thing that keeps resonating with me while you're talking is, what is the most important thing for me to know about your market right now? What's going on in your market?
Well, the market is not bad. It's the prices really haven't. It's not bad. I mean, the prices haven't really corrected itself as much as we thought because inventory levels are still low, right? So, I mean, my market is a smaller market. We're just north of Toronto, so about an hour north, but we're kind of in. So, I mean, the prices are still up there, right? And I would imagine you're in the States, right?
I am.
Yeah. So our prices compared to the States, I mean, you could. I mean, half the price. I mean, I mean, the house where I live, it's a 800,000-900,000, $1 million. I mean, in where you live, probably would be
Price
a fraction of the
adjustment.
price.
So the price adjustment really hasn't been affected by the interest rates. Is that what you're saying? Yet?
It has. Well, I mean, anyway, you know, it has to because, I mean, our market is different from you in the States because.
Eliminate the states. I want to know about your market specifically.
No, I understand. No, but
Why
no,
you
it hasn't corrected itself a bit in terms because of the low inventories right now, and plus the monetary because of it's difficult now because the rates have gone up, and to qualify for a mortgage is hard now for first time home buyers, right? I mean, there's more. It's more complicated. So. And so it's corrected itself in my market, but not as much as people thought. So people are just waiting. But I mean, I don't think the shoe's going to drop anytime soon because we don't have enough inventory to supply.
But what I love about everything you just said, two things. When was the last time you conveyed that message to your leads? That's value.
It is, but I haven't had the opportunity to kind of connect with them because I mean and that's the issue because I really haven't it's connected in like face to face or on the phone like a human connection. Not because by email, I mean a lot of agents do that, like they send blast emails about the market, but that doesn't say anything. And a lot of agents do that.
It's not so much about the market, Mario. We always want to come from a place that is giving value.
Of course.
And when people are looking at the market, they're curious. They want to know. And what most agents are sending are newsletters, home search updates. There's not really much meat for them to gnaw on the bone and want more. So powerful subject lines create the open rate. Powerful messages that are going to educate in the market that you're in right now is going to make you stand out more so than any average agent. You probably hit at least 5 strong subject lines in what you just delivered in that very short amount of time. You talked about the difficulty of getting financing because of the interest rates. You talked about how the market wasn't really being, the prices weren't really changing a whole lot. You were talking about the interest rates affecting the prices. I mean, there was a multitude of things that you were bringing out in there that would be great subject lines. Of course, and you being the go-to. So with online leads, they are sold every like 2 seconds. You turn on the radio, you open up your email, they're getting phone calls of people that they don't even know who's showing up on their phone. Text messages are coming through. We're sold to constantly. So it's really put the consumer in the driver's seat to say, I don't need anybody until it's my turn to come out and say, I need somebody now. I'm ready to buy. So when we look at all of the leads in our dashboard, it's not in our position to get them on the fence, to put them in our car, to put a sign in their yard. Our job is to find out where they are in the process so that we know how to communicate with them. So when we look at the leads, and Crystal and I were talking a little bit about this before you jumped on, we have a very high expectation because we are spending money. And if we don't see a return on the money that we're spending, we automatically go into this isn't working. these leads suck. They're not buying. They're just looking. Why are they taking up space in my database? So we really do have to flip that switch. And remember, we are consumers as well of other products.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I search it on Amazon, I mean, gosh, I have books sitting in my collection of what I want to read next. And the only thing that makes me order a book is because my Audible points are going to expire. Like, oh, you have an Audible point that's going to be expiring by the end of the month. I'm like, oop, I got to get a book. Because my library is so full and I only listen to so much. Like someone tells me about a book, I'm like, whoop, I'm going to go get it. But a lot of times I'm in such a hurry, I just put it in my favorites to save it for later and then I don't order it.
Mm-hmm.
But the most beautiful thing is, though, if that author knew that I had that book in my cart, but I didn't purchase it, and they kept telling me how great their book is, and every subject line would be their chapter title, and how it would transform my life and how it would change my life or how it would transform my business, I'm there, man. It's not about them communicating with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's about them communicating with you when the time is right for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you buy a house today?
If I didn't have a choice, I would. I mean,
Exactly.
but I know that, I mean, but everything is kind of flipped upside down because, and Chris could tell too, because I mean, in our market, in Ontario, and the rental market, anywhere you go, everything is expensive, even to rent now. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because if you're renting, you're paying X, Y, Z now. It's very expensive to rent.
You said it. You hit the nail on the head, though. If you didn't have a choice, you would buy. So
yes.
The reality is there are people out there that have to buy.
Well, I understand. And what I was saying initially, when I started with AgentLocator, that was when the peak was. It was because, like I was saying initially, the rates were low. See, it's going to be a flip side because the rates were low, prices were high. The only issue, and especially in our market, if I don't think the rates are ever going to go down, but if the rates do go down, it's the same thing probably in your market. If the rates do go down, then it's going to flip again where buyers are going to be motivated, but then the prices are going to go up again. So it's a vicious cycle for buyers because they're trying to time the market where you can never time the market, and that's the issue because if you try to time it, you're gonna be losing on opportunity, right?
That's like one of the.
So
Well,
the
real estate market is always on a pendulum. Buyer's market, shift, seller's market.
Well, the seller's market, like in my market, the seller's market is now sellers are hard. It's anything that's at a price point, it's not moving because buyers cannot afford those homes. So sellers want what they want like 2 years ago prices, but that's not happening. So
a lot of sellers don't have to move. So if you really dig into the market and what's happening in the market right now, the people that are selling are the ones that absolutely have to move because why would you put your home on the market in the beginning of the shift, right? Everybody's just kind of feeling it out right now. And the most beautiful thing about this market is it's getting rid of a lot of agents. So it's making room for the strong that will survive it.
Of course.
It's how do we survive it, right?
Yeah, and those sellers, see, the thing was the sellers 2-3 years when the market was really, really, really hot. The sellers.
Can you give me the 4-digit code that you got in your phone, please? I don't want to interrupt you, but I just logged in.
Okay.
And I'll lose it if you don't give it to me.
Well, you send me a text, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it a text or?
Text, yeah.
Okay. That one. Okay. You want me to?
Yep. Give me the 4 digits.
Yeah, 2493. So, Beverly, so those sellers 2-3 years ago when the market was really, really hot and prices 30-40% in my area, sellers at that point were not really motivated to sell, but they said, well, if I'm getting 30-40% extra on my home, I might as well sell. So that was motivation. Back then, it was all about money for sellers to sell because the market is really hot. I might as well cash out right now. So the motivation is always different for sellers. It comes down to money, and you, as you know, real estate, there's other factor, but money is a big factor for sellers to sell. If they get if sellers get what they want, they're gonna they're definitely going to sell the home, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And buyers obviously don't. I mean, it's kind of that, the tug of war between buyers and sellers. So sellers are going to sell at their price, right? Well, what they want, well, what they perceive the home is value in today's market, right?
And those right there are very key points that your leads would love to converse on and would love to.
And the only challenge is to try to get those leads, my leads, on the phone, because I talked to some leads. I know some leads. I've had some conversations. Some of them are still kind of going to through the pre-approval, because I said to all my, when I get them on the phone, I said the best thing to do is get a pre-approval, especially in today's market. So someone I have connected with a mortgage broker. So the mortgage broker I deal with in my market area has fought, and they said, well, Mario, your lead hasn't really connected with me. So I talked to my lead. So the best thing, so I convey that message to get a pre-approval, and they still didn't even respond to my mortgage broker. So these leads they're not really responding back to me, and not responding back to my mortgage. So it comes to a point where if you're going to be serious, because and my mortgage brokers are they're very aggressive too. They follow up as much, I mean, more than I would, but they send messages, emails, phone calls, and none of them respond back to them. So if they're motivated, they're not really responding back to them. They're responding back to me. I don't know what that makes. So I don't know what that situation will play out with, right?
They're not motivated. They're not motivated. I promise you, they're not motivated. There's something. There's an underlying something that is back there. And that's why I'm so question based, because I want to know just about everything about you before I hand you over, because we've all done it. We lie to the salesperson to get them off the phone, and we tell them what they want to hear to get them off the phone, because then we can ignore the future phone calls coming in. We give a false email address or a spam email address, or like that email address that's just for the stupid coupons, because you have to put your email address in everywhere now that you go. We all do it. And until a buyer or seller is basically forced into having to do it, sellers are quintessential of putting off listing their homes because they don't want to have to clean. They don't want to have to organize and get rid of all their shit they have sitting around. So they're going to put it off and I'm like, oh my God, that agent's calling again. Oh my God, I got to clean out my closet. And I'm like a 4-year-old walking into my room whenever my mother says, like, clean up your room. You're like, I don't know where to start. I got toys everywhere. I don't even know where to put it.
I had a listing. Obviously, it expired. I was there every weekend doing open house. There was no appetite, and the seller obviously, she decided to hire a different agent. So she decided to hire a different agent and up the price, right? So I was there every weekend promoting, doing TikTok, doing Instagram videos, everything, and there was no appetite for the home. We started a bit higher, and the home was listed in May, and from May to almost October now, she got one offer, and then she decided to use a different agent from the big city or from Toronto, and it's sitting there and it's not going to move. Now it's a waterfront, and and it's gonna and winter's coming on and fall's coming, and it's not going to sell. She wants what she wants, but there's no appetite for that because people don't have the money for secondary homes now.
So I want to challenge you to pay attention to the words that you're using and the way that you're explaining certain things. It's the leads. I can't get a hold of the leads. Nobody's responding. Her home's not going to sell. It's very focused on what's not going to happen. Now, when we give our power, just hear me out here. When we focus on the what ifs and the could be's, we really need to be spending our time with the things that we can control.
Okay.
And what we can control is getting more leads, getting more business, building our network.
Yeah.
And we can give our energy into the things that excite us and bring about business instead of focusing on the people that are in our database just looking, and the people that aren't calling us back. All we can control is the emails we're putting out, the phone calls we're making, the text messages that we're making.
Okay.
We have that control.
Okay.
The people on the other end, they have the choice to respond or not. So if we're exhausting energy on worrying about nobody communicating back to us, if we're focused on, now let me ask you this, would you be on this call right now if you had 10 closings in the next 2 months?
Probably not. I mean,
Exactly, right? Because you're focusing on the close.
Yeah,
and you're not even worrying about the people that aren't responding. The only reason you're
Yeah.
worried about the people that are not responding right now is because you're in that mode like, I've got to get these people to respond. And you're paying attention to it, which is a beautiful thing because we've got to be paying attention to it to get better.
Okay. And because you asked me that question initially, Beverly, you said, well, have you conveyed, and well, it's hard to convey a message it's hard to convey a message to an empty room. And
Send and forget. Send and forget.
No, I understand, but if there's no audience and you have a great message, if there's no audience in the room, it's hard to kind of get that message across.
But here's the most beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
I'm an online content creator.
Okay.
I don't care if nobody shows up, if one person shows up, or if 500 people show up, because guess what? I'm creating content no matter what.
Yes.
I'm doing the things that are going to lead to.
Okay.
So if we're thinking there's no audience, there's nobody to email, I might as well just not even do it. We're not throwing the pebble into the ocean, or we're not throwing the pebble into the lake and watching the ripple.
Of course.
We're just watching the steady the water just sit there stagnant. But when you throw the pebble in, you're going to create a ripple effect. So we have to create those habits as if.
Okay.
So we've got to be in those modes that we're working right now as if.
Okay. And
so what would it feel like? What would it feel like, Mario, if you sat down and called your leads and they all answered their phone and they were communicating back with you and you got an appointment on the books for next week? What would that feel like?
It would feel, it would feel kind of, it would feel kind of there's a light in the end of the tunnel. You know,
and there's still a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have an expectation that isn't going your way.
No one is saying, well, I haven't given up, because if you see my database, I'm not just kind of throwing the towel in. I'm still kind of doing those weekly and those emails and still kind of setting off emails on a regular basis. I'm still kind of,
but what energy are you doing it with?
okay.
Are you doing it with there's no audience out there and these leads aren't buying and they're not communicating? Or are you going in acting as if these people want to hear from me today and I'm going to get an appointment? Because there is a difference. And I'm a psycho. I truly believe that the energy we bring to the table, whenever we open up our dashboard and we start making calls and we start sending emails, we can manifest that based on the energy that we're bringing to the table. If we're bringing to the table doom and gloom, we're going to get doom and gloom. But if we're bringing the table as if, things start happening that we can't even explain.
Of course, yeah.
So we really do have to get into that as if mode and put yourself, like, think about and really get into that state of, gosh, if everybody answered their phone today and I had communication and I set an appointment, get into that feeling and then start making your phone calls. And I promise you, I can't tell you every single webinar I do, every single training I do, I jump into a database, I make a phone call and I get a conversion. People are like, how did you do that? Because I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm enjoying what I'm doing because I know I've got something to share that these people need to hear. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard from the people answering their phone, I can't believe I actually answered my phone today. I never answer my phone. I don't know why I answered my phone. And that's because of the energy we bring to the table. It's not something we can change in a nanosecond. It's something that we just have to be aware of. And you know, my one story, I know I've said this on a webinar before. My now ex-husband, he used to call leads. Well, he was a police officer. He didn't like people. So he started calling the leads and we had, oh my gosh, We had like a really bad run of like negative people and horrible closings. And I'm like, oh my God, you attracted yourself. You're fired. You're not allowed to call leads no more. Because it made our business miserable. Because like attracts like.
Of course, yeah.
And if we're going in with a particular attitude or a particular mode or just whatever, we might attract people that we really don't want.
Yeah,
but if we're going in with a woo, it's going to change the game a little bit. Because when we act as if, we're acting as if it's already happened. And we're bringing it.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, your biggest amount of homework right now is being aware of the words that you're using and how you are conveying a message.
Okay.
And just really turn around and say, nope, as if, act as if. Oh, God, I hate calling leads. All right, let me step back, because that might not be the most opportune time for you to work your leads until you get into that mental state. I promise you. Okay. It makes a difference. So think about the value you can be bringing to them. They don't need to answer the phone. Have fun with it. Go against the grain. Leave voicemails. Hey, this is Mario. I was just wanting to update you on the crazy market that's going on right now. This is the latest. Be like a little newscaster. Just what's your 1 minute elevator pitch? That's it. Okay. So change the game. Because you know what? It don't matter if they're listening on the other end. You're conveying a message, and that is what's important. Because all we need to do is find out where these people are in the process. We can't change them at all. And honestly, if they haven't lost their job, they don't have to sell their house, right? If they lost their job and they can't pay their mortgage, they're going to have to damn sell their house. It don't matter. Those are the people we're looking for. If it's a buyer that's relocating because they just got a job in the market and they're moving from somewhere else, they have to buy. Those are the people we're looking for. We're looking for the have to. Not the, I don't have to. I'm just waiting to see what happens with the market. Well, I want those people too, because I want to fill my pipeline. So if you're just waiting on the market, what exactly are you waiting for? What is the perfect opportunity in the market that would make you make a move? Okay. And find out from them. And that's all it is. But when we take that sale away and we give them value, then it changes the game, because then they're going to remember you because you weren't selling to them. You were giving them value. And if we don't know what value to bring, study your market, know your market, know your little sandbox, know what is selling. And if you're looking at a particular smaller location, whether it be a subdivision or whether it be a couple mile radius, depending on how many homes are in there, you should be able to pull up in your MLS and look at what's sold in the last 30 days and break those sales down into price points. See where the prominent buyers are spending their money. And then, it's like, well, heck, if you've got it $700,000 to an $850,000 house, you're prime right now to sell. Because there were this many buyers in that market for that sale price of a home. And look at the home sales. Look at what was the price that they started at and what did they sell at. So when you're pulling homes in the last 30 days in a smaller market, you should only be looking at a handful of homes. You're not looking at thousands. Because you're narrowing in on a particular location. I promise you, those little locations, if you were to do it in a grand big scale, your percentages are still going to be the same. But it's so interesting to look at sales in $100,000 increments, because then you're really seeing where the buyers are and what they're willing to pay. Have the sellers pay closing costs? Out of 10 home sales in that price range, did the sellers pay the closing costs? 1 did. Did they drop the price? 2 did. Because it's going to tell a lot. And that's the stuff we need to be focusing on, because that's what we can bring to the table when we're talking to leads or when we're trying to convey a message. Okay. So you can leave voicemails and go, hey, oh my gosh, I was just looking at the market and we had 10 homes sell in this price range. I thought it was really interesting, because none of them dropped their price, and they were only on the market for 30 days.
Mhm.
Dang. So if I was on the fence and I got a message like that, I'd be like, ooh. But speak very clearly, because most people have their voicemails on text or
Mhm.
on,
Yeah.
right? It's like it comes through, I do
Voice
Google
to
Voice, so it
text.
comes through my email and I can
Yeah.
read. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So you're leaving a voicemail, but you're kind of sending an email because they're reading it.
Mhm.
And those are the things, when we're focusing on that, that's going to create change.
Okay.
Because then we have something to bring to the table, not just like, hey, I saw you were looking. Are you still buying? Because there's two ways to go about it, right? Like me, I love just flipping through a database and call, 23 seconds. I mean, that's just like, I don't have to think about it.
Mhm.
Easy to me. And then I'm just looking for who's going to answer the phone. That's it. And then I'm looking the 23-second rule, right? 4 rings, hang up. I'm looking for the callbacks.
Mhm.
So if I hang up the phone before you get a chance to end it, your curiosity is like, you have a higher chance of people calling you back. So I'm just looking to create my phone ringing and for who's going to answer the phone to have a conversation with. So that's one tactic.
Yeah.
But another tactic, leave voicemails. Like, all right, I'm going to go and I'm going to leave 20 voicemails today
Mhm.
and just see what happens. But bring the value.
Mhm.
Bring the value. All right, so I'm in your dashboard. We have 20 minutes left.
Mhm.
What can we do? What do you want me to do?
You asking me or?
Yeah,
I-
I'm asking you.
Well, I know which one, a second here. I'm looking at that. Which one are you looking at? Well, I mean, this guy. I'm looking at, well, you look at the most recent person that created, well, this guy here, this guy, he's been on my radar since
All right.
if you look at the most recent activity, he came up 2 hours ago. He actually registered back in almost 600 days ago. He keeps looking at my, Beverly keeps looking at my site here, but I can't really get a hold of him on the phone. I spoke to him
Who
a
is
few
it?
times. The guy
Is it
Prowl,
okay.
yeah, he's been 600 days. That's like almost like 2 years now, give or take.
Yeah, he's got 47 calls on it. 47.
Yeah. I've been, yeah, and I've been sending emails and stuff. So he's been.
Have you tried calling him from your cell phone and not through Agent Locator?
I do both, but my
Okay.
cell phone appears has my name on it. I think people screen it. I mean, but Twitter's not bad. Sometimes I know that it can hit and miss, but if I call through my cell phone, it has my name on it, right? So they probably recognize the name. I would imagine, right? Twitter doesn't show my name. It just says, you know.
All right, so I have a question. Is this part of a campaign or was this sent by you?
This was done by me.
All right. So here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Texting etiquette. That is a really long text. Text.
Yeah. Okay.
Text should be one line. One line. Do you have kids, Mario?
I do. Well, kind of kids now. They're almost teenagers now.
Okay, perfect. What are how do they text?
Well, I would imagine it's simple, but the teenagers, right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
Just think about, and this is what we have to remember in text messaging. Text messages like right now, I got that on my phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come across the front of my phone. So now I know Misty said, okay. So there's nothing I really need to do. But if there was something in there that she asked me a question and it comes up now, 15 other things happen before I actually go back. Because now I've mentally responded.
Yeah.
15 other things come up before I actually respond.
Mm.
When you are not a priority in someone's life, they're glazing over all of this.
Yeah. Okay. So when you usually text to leads, I mean, you want to do one sentence. Like, how would you convey a message in one sentence then, or one? Like, I mean, like I said, I mean,
Wow, Mario here. I see that you're looking at homes online. When are you planning on making a purchase? This year or next year?
so you want, so it's not open-ended question then.
Oh yeah, it's just you just want yes nos on text messages. It's completely against everything on phone calls because all you want is engagement.
Okay.
And then the rule of thumb is one question per text because it's very easy to keep going, right? It's like, oh, but it's one question per text because what happens, you get a text message and there's 3 questions in there. There's nothing that drives me more crazy than people respond and they don't answer all 3 questions.
Okay.
So yeah, very short, very sweet.
So on emails, you could do a paragraph. So, but
Yes.
do you think people attention span on emails? Because aren't people more bombarded with more emails than text? Because if you're going to send a paragraph, do people have time to do people have time to read a long paragraph?
Well, and that's where you can use bold and italicized in your emails to be able to change fonts to pull out the most important things because everyone, well, I don't want to say everyone because your analytical people will read every word and then they'll comment that you use this word instead of that word. And
I keep, so you think just one, like I keep saying like, so I always have to say just to direct right to the point for this guy. Okay.
Yep. And like you can take out all of this. How's your home search going? With the homes to buy. That's it.
Okay.
Quick and to the point.
Okay.
Let's try call. Let's see if you can answer the phone. Come on, Prowl.
You have reached. You got Matthew?
I don't even know if it's a good number.
And the name is different on it, right?
Yep.
But he hasn't subscribed and he still keeps looking. So that doesn't make sense.
But Prowl might be a nickname. But now if he answers the phone, I'd be like, hey, Matthew, not hey, Prowl.
Yeah, okay.
Same within the texting. No,
Okay,
so this would be a great text, right? Hey, I just tried calling. Is this Matthew?
Okay. So just do like one brief to the point for text. Emails you could do longer, right?
But you did talk to him?
Over a year ago, it's been a while. Yeah, he says not looking, but he keeps looking.
So I did put Matthew on voicemail there in the notes, just so you know if he does answer the phone.
Okay.
But I think he sent it to voicemail because it rang and then it went. It didn't just go right to voicemail. So I think he got the call through. So.
I'm going fat.
Purchase. So we'll just say in the future.
So text has to be one. Some people do send like a elongated text message, but that's not a pro. It depends on the text you're sending, right? Or is that standard?
I just like short and sweet. You're just trying to get him to raise his hand.
Okay.
Okay. So and yeah, just really trying to get them to respond to you, right? Too much information in an email, you could also, or in a text, could really be a short email, which is what you want your emails to be, just short and sweet, precise to the point.
Of course, yeah, you're right.
Okay. So just send it. So I just put your name and your website because then he can click into it.
Okay, and he probably knows who I am because he's been looking for like 2 years.
Yeah, so I'll say Mario here. So yeah, I just want to know. I just want to know what your plans are. So it's just a real quick response. And then when you're in the system, all you need to do is watch your text message up here.
Okay.
So it went through.
Yeah.
So he's a live person. We don't know who he is, if it's Matthew or stuff. So okay.
Mhm.
So it's pending. What does it mean when it's pending?
It
Crystal?
just hasn't delivered yet.
There you go. Now it delivered. So now we just called him. Now we just texted him. Move on. Forget about him.
Mhm.
Of
Mhm.
course, I'm not worried about
I
it.
know.
Just, again,
But when we open it up, you're like,
I'm
"Bro,
not, I'm not, I'm not, I mean,
very
I'm
much
not,
about pro."
I'm not as preoccupied. I just know some people know, but some leads, but some leads some leads you know, because you've been there for 2-3 years, so you know what they're searching, like, they're who they are, and
Mhm.
I haven't talked to, but I kind of know who they are, and because they've just been kind of circulating my database for
Here's
2
a
years, right?
suggestion with pro. So I'm going to take this a little bit outside the box here of what we're talking about. When we look at leads in pipeline stages, right?
Yeah.
The majority of our leads should always probably be in tried to contact, because not everybody's answering their phone and we don't know what their situation is. And that's going to be the majority of our database, because we just don't know what their situation is.
Okay.
That's just always the way it is. When we start moving them into different statuses,
Mhm.
contacted is going to be a lot of leads.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And when you're talking 420 leads, I work in database with 10,000 leads.
Mhm.
If you've got 5,000 leads in a contacted state with no tag or no reminder, Pro's going to get lost.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, we still don't know what's going on with Pro. He should be in a tried to contact stage, because he should be falling into your filters to find out where he is in the process.
And that's what I was saying before. I know some other programs, but like say, I know other CRMs, like say KV Core. KV Core they have Spark. They actually have dedicated. They have a 26 to 30 touch point through the Spark. So when you put someone in KV Core, because we use with Remax now, the system does all the work. So they do all the touch points. And I was saying to Jason before, it's good that if you can have a CRM with all these smart campaigns, you just set and forget it, because it just keeps touching, and you don't need to do anything, Beverly, because all the touch points are being done for 26. Like, they keep, each time they come, they just have all the. So sometimes there are some CRMs out there where you just put them in there, and they do all the reminders for you. You don't have to do much. It just they send texts or emails.
So
on
what
your behalf,
is the
right?
quality? All right. So I'm just gonna go out there on this.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant, and this restaurant does not have people working in the kitchen cooking the food.
Mm-hmm.
They have robots that are just programmed to move food around.
Yeah.
And then they have these little digital. Have you seen these little things in restaurants now that like drive your food to
Yeah.
the table?
Yeah.
You have no personal experience whatsoever in this restaurant. You're just basically going in there, paying for food, zero experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or you go into a restaurant where they're slaving back in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
creating your dish, and it's coming out and being served.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you rather be? It's the exact same amount of money to spend whether you're going automated or whether you're going the experience.
Well, the experience, right?
Yes.
But
because what is every agent doing right now? Because they want their job easy, because they don't want to call, they don't want to follow up, they don't want to work their dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
95% of all of your agents are trying to automate everything as much as they can because they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what can set you apart.
Okay.
Because you are not a robot. You are not automation. You are a real person trying to reach these leads. And that is what is missing in today's customer service.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Have you tried to call like any cable subscriber or any TV or satellite company recently? You can't get to an actual person.
No, you can't.
But that's the beauty, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
With a video drop in it. Do a text message from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Mario, a real person trying to connect with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wondering what's going on with your home search.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's okay to be a little bit different.
Okay.
And, you know, our natural tendency is we're going to want to make excuses, and we're going to want to, you know, doom and gloom because it's just not working. And we love to fall into the category of talking to 15 other people. And we can go into a Facebook group and start bitching about our leads. And there will be a ton of people that are going to chime in. It's like, yeah, mine too. Yeah, mine too. I just saw a string on there that people are upset with the lack of leads that are being delivered now. Well, the market's shifting. It's changing. But everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Like, oh yeah, mine too. I'm not getting any leads either. Ooh, like everybody like loves to breed in that. I look at that as woohoo, opportunity. Because I'm going to make lemonade, because I'm not going to sit there and complain about it. I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
So get creative and just sit and think, like, what can I do different?
Okay.
Because Prowl is probably never going to answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. We don't know. His mom could be a real estate agent. It doesn't have online access, that doesn't have access to the MLS. We have no idea. People be crazy.
Yeah.
He may have just watched too much HGTV and he's just looking at pictures because he wants to know how to tell his wife to decorate their house.
Well, and there are people who just have so much time during the day, just keep looking on. And like I said, I probably have those people who just been kind of constantly looking, and just constantly just looking. And when they're ready, they're ready. At this point, there's not much I can do. Just I can't kind of dwell on it. I'll just keep sending reminders and stuff like that, right? So now, do you know people call? I mean, do you now for like a guy like Prowl, would you call someone like that, or would you just send them like a text reminder once in a while?
I sent him a text message, and he's probably not going to respond. But that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. He's just not ready.
Okay. Well, 2 years. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly,
takes a long time to save a down payment now. When you think of it, when you're looking at the homes, right? You need, $50, $100, $150, $200,000 just in down payment to get a house, which is a long time of saving money. When you're a first-time buyer, unless you're getting money from another source.
So do you think I should do is there I know that Jason was doing that. I know there's campaigns. I know there was that treasure hunt we did last year. Is there stuff coming up with that? And because I did the treasure hunt of bad numbers and leads, and that didn't really generate many actually, because so I did that treasure. There was the three was last year before Christmas. So. And that didn't really spark much interest. I mean, that was good, but didn't spark much.
It was really a lot of that was also just to, stir the pot and see who's still in there. Is really what it is. A lot of it comes down to is really utilizing your filters and emptying those buckets. I did pin a bunch to your dashboard. I noticed that for a lot of them, you were using check-in tags and filters and things like that, which kind of by the looks of it, have been ignored in the last little while. And then when I look at some of them, some of those leads haven't been active recently, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be calling them. There's a reason. You still want to know why, what, maybe they already purchased something, or maybe their searches are on hold, or, learning now where they're at with respect to everything. Or maybe they stop looking at listings for, a significant amount of time. So they're now just kind of going into a spam folder, right? So they could still be potentially looking, but not realizing that. So that's where being consistent with our follow-ups and just those, those soft touch points and check-in helps keep ourselves top of mind and reminding them those listings do exist.
Okay.
But I would just kind of go through all your buckets, empty all your buckets, go in there and empty them all.
So what I just did, yes, empty your buckets. I was looking at your pipeline. So I created an analyzer. So at fixyourcrm.com, you can go and download or you can get a link to the analyzer. And you're on an email campaign that walks you through the process of how to do this. And it helps to bring up the gold in your database, because what I wanted to look at is you had 60 leads, only 60 that were in tried to contact that would fall into like these filters in the new lead.
Yeah, the number 1, 2. Yeah.
Only 60. But you have 360 in non-responsive and make contact. So they're not going to fall into those. And what I love about the new lead filter, the tried to contact filter, I just whip through the calls, man, because all I'm trying to do is find out where you're in the process, where you're in the process, where you're in the process. Where 360 leads, when they're in made contact, that means there was a previous conversation. So I have to be a little bit more selective on my conversation because I have to look at notes. It takes me a lot more time. So they should be tagged with something. Now, when I say tagged with something, it should be a situational tag that tells me why I'm not doing business with them currently, or they don't have a reminder set.
Well, yeah, and that's I should, because I know some of these, like I said, like I know that Nick, his budget. I mean, I spoke to him a few times. His budget is, so he's not really qualified. He's
just looking. He's not going to get lost because you can find him in a tag.
Okay.
But come on.
And this lady, she needs a pre-approval. My mortgage broker spoke to her, trying to contact her. So she's still looking because she's looking to buy, but she still hasn't made contact with my mortgage broker. So I finally got on the phone. She's been there for almost 400 days. I finally got on the phone with her last week, and I called again today.
We should have her in a like lender tag pre-approval so that we don't lose these people. Because these 360 leads are very easily lost if they're not tagged appropriately or have reminders set up. So in my database analyzer, what I did is I have everyone breaking down their database by the status and analyzing the leads that are in each status and say, okay, out of these 360 leads, who doesn't have a tag of their situation? And just looking, now you know your tags. I mean, it's pretty easy. All right, there you go, needs pre-approval. This one should be a needs pre-approval. And then when you want to go into your database and go, okay, all the people that I spoke to that needs pre-approval, that's who I'm going to focus on today. And those are going to be my phone calls today. But if they're like Kimon or even Prel with, well, okay, he's just looking 2+ years. Now, when did that tag go on there? Was that 2 years ago you put that on there?
Well, it came in 2022, so he's still not even at a 2-year mark.
Yeah, I spoke to him once and he was just looking, and he just keeps looking. So I probably had, and we made almost like 50 calls with him in 2 years. So it's not, this,
That's normal. If people stay active, and one of my favorite stories is that the guy that we called like 78 times because he was active in our database. And when he called my agent back, he was like, I'm using you. I owe you a phone call. You've been so tenacious about calling me. We left him 2 voicemails. And he said, you don't even know me and you're working this diligent to get my business. I can only imagine how hard you're going to work whenever I hire you as my agent. So be diligent. It's okay. They appreciate it. It's just, you need to catch them when it's convenient for them, not for you. So
Crystal, I have to kind of work with you, just kind of resetting my tags then in a week.
Yeah, I think it's just, well, your tags are all in there. You should have, we'll look at them, but majority should all be in there. It's just using them. Maybe there's different situations you're coming across that you need to add some more in there, really whatever it is. But I think it's just, staying on top of it and not just focusing on leads that are always active. Because somebody that, they're not always going to be active like right away or all the time. But doesn't mean that they're not a promising and nurturing type lead that they're going to be transacting in the next 4, 6, 8 months, right? So, but doesn't mean they're going to be active every single day or every single week, right? So that's why you have those follow-up systems that have no indication of activity, because regardless of that activity, we should be checking in on them.
So those leads are the text that those leads that are 2 to 4, 5, 600 days old. You think I should send a quick text like you did? Just say, are you, just a quick text saying, are
Hey,
you
just
looking?
wondering, you were looking, well, I like to call them, but you were a while ago, you were looking at homes online, just wondering if you're still in the market or if you've made a purchase.
Yeah.
That's it.
Those would be for your older leads. Your newer ones should be, oh no, you look like you've stopped an automated campaign, maybe? You stop the drip campaigns?
No, I don't think so.
No. No.
Because
Oh,
I
these guys
think
make
Jason-
contact. Never mind. Just see those rentals. That one's. And I'm just trying to find somebody that's still going strong. Yeah, or maybe you have a different campaign. Maybe that's all it is. We'll look at it. Because there is a campaign that'll run for like a year and a half for you in the back end if you don't make contact with them. You're trying to, that's just to complement your calling efforts, not replacing them. And they're really just geared to get these people to respond to you. That's the only objective, is to get them to respond to the text message so you can initiate a little bit more, or, pick up the phone and actually have a conversation.
Of course, yeah.
And I like calling people out, the ones that aren't responding to your lender. I am very bold about leaving a voicemail and saying, hey, Mario, oh my gosh, I know life's probably happened. And I just are you okay? Has anything changed? Just no pressure. I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what happens in people's lives. I mean, life happens and throws people off course. So if we come from a place of service and a place of being genuine with people, instead of like, where the hell are you? Like, hey, my lender's trying to get a hold of you. Where have you been? Right? It's, hey, just want to make sure you're okay. I know you haven't talked to my lender. Just keep me up to date on if anything's changed. Okay. And you'll be amazed at the responses you get from people. And please, please, please tell people to save your number. Mm-hmm. So, save my number so that whenever I call back, it's me. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I love when I call leads, they're like, hey, Beverly. I'm like, woohoo. Okay. And then have fun with it and say, yeah, save it as your favorite realtor. Mm-hmm. You don't even need to say my name, just my realtor. Mm-hmm. And then they laugh. But have fun with it. Mm-hmm. Don't be so tense. Okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But thank you for your time.
Thanks again. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I'll just have to have different mind. Kind of be careful the words I use. Just be more positive.
Be aware.
Positive.
Be aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
For every negative, there is an ultimate opposite positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
I promise it's going to make a difference. And if you're not feeling it, just feel as if.
Yeah. No problem.
Feel as if. So that's the motto of today. Act as if.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No problem. Okay. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I will see you. Oh my gosh, Crystal, in October.
I know, right? Gosh, we're already almost there. September's just like gone already.
I know. Bring on the pumpkins.
I know. Awesome. Well, thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you.
Bye,
guys.
everyone that joined us. We'll see you again in a couple weeks. Bye now.